I mean, is Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points? I would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get this. Who are you trying to convince right now? Are you trying to convince yourself?
No, I'm not. I'm telling you guys what's going to happen.
Okay. So you're not worried at all?
No. Why would I be worried?
Just to fill people in, I said, Trevor, you're lucky. Philadelphia is the only reason that we're not going to be able to talk so bad about Milwaukee.
Oh, no,
tonight.
we need to address Milwaukee.
His response was, I'm not worried. And I said, whoa, Trevor, no one said you're worried.
We're fine. The boys just want to clinch at home in front of the home crowd. Okay, that's you know what? I get that. That's respectable, commendable.
Hey, as a Padres fan, I know what it's like when your offense goes cold. There's nothing you can do about it.
We're fine.
Look, I'm not a I told you so type, but I did say the Brewers would collapse.
I'm sorry. Is the season over?
Yes.
Oh, I
can
really?
see it.
Okay, gotcha.
They did a close up of the Brewers dugout, and it was clear as day. This team is done. They've already mentally
checked.
checked.
Clinch at home. They're done with this. They don't care to do this in Chicago. If they wanted to, they could. They want to clinch at home in front of the crowd that's been there all year, selling out. So I respect it. The boys want to do it with the family, so can't fault them for that.
Yeah, I suppose not. What's up, everybody? Happy Friday morning to you all. Hope you all had a nice Thursday night. Shout out the New York Football Giants for the big win, and more importantly, the cover. But yeah, big win for the Giants. Man, those Giants fans, last two home games, back-to-back wins with Jackson Dart.
Wow.
Yeah. If you're a Giants fan, you got to be fired up, man. They got a scataboo chant. They're like, boo, every time. It sounds pretty exciting time to be a Giants fan. And I sent out a tweet that said this, but you hate to see it happen to the good people of Philly. It's just a good, wholesome city with just a real down-to-earth. Just couldn't happen to a nicer group of folks there in Philadelphia. So shout out to the people of Philly. My heart's with you. Tough night, Philadelphia. You hate to see it. All right. So we got one baseball game. Then Sean Green's going to be on in probably like 5 minutes because we only have one game. And then Ducks coming on later. So let's talk Tigers, Mariners. By the way, if you don't get excited for something like this, you don't like baseball, it's Scooble versus Kirby in an elimination game. Doesn't get much better than this on Friday night. Scoobs, you can get it around -135. TV Jones, are you back in the Scoob, man?
No, it's going to be Seattle. Their offense has been better. Detroit showed up one time. We saw the Phillies do that last night, and then they do nothing today. So I like to see Detroit's offense come through again and on the road in Seattle to get this done. But they've seen Scooble less than a week ago. George Kirby at home is just criminal. This is just a disgustingly criminal price on the Mariners. I'll be taking the Mariners money line. I also played the over 5.5 out of principle. It's 5.5, so I'll go down with the ship. But
so out of principle.
Out of principle, yes. It's a straight principle play.
It's a principle play, guys. Principle play. Spoon, what do you think?
I like the other side of this. Tariq Skubal, obviously one of the best pitchers in baseball, favored on the road here for a reason. George Kirby has had some really good years in seasons past, but he dealt with injury this year. He never really looked like himself. Towards the end of the season, it started to come together, but he just saw this Detroit lineup. I expect them to be able to get a few hits off him. They got 6 off him in the last game. This total is criminally low, 5.5. It's not going to take much to win this game. Whoever gets to 3 runs first probably wins, and I think Detroit's that team. Skubal is going to go out there and absolutely battle for every pitch that he possibly can, probably try to go 7 innings. And I think Detroit finds a way to win this game, extend the series one more game.
Toast?
They wouldn't extend the series. The series was going to be...
Yeah, it'd be a wrap.
It would only be Detroit for me. I see some 135s. For me, I understand that, and because I know the comments are going to come off that Google's lost his last 3 starts against Seattle, all of them this year. I get all that, but I don't look at the no decision in Seattle in game 2 as like him pitching bad. I mean, I know that he had 2 mistakes to Polanco, but besides that, I mean, he was very, very good. So I also just feel like in my plums, I guess, that we see Google come out here and give you 7, maybe 8 innings strong of 1 or 2 run baseball. I agree that the total at 5.5, Trevor, is kind of insane, but I think it shows that, I mean, I don't think that we can really count on Seattle's offense like we can count, or as much as we think that we can either. I mean, both of these teams had one good day in Detroit each, and then one good day in Seattle each, but neither one of them. It was 3-2 in Seattle, both those games. So I'm not really in love with this Seattle offense either. And like I said, we saw Scooble last year get blown up in the ALDS in a game 5 situation. If he gets blown up again in another game 5, so be it. But if you're going to give me one of the best pitchers in baseball at an affordable price, and like Spoon said, Kirby is my guy. I love him, but he hasn't been the same George Kirby that we know and love. It would only be Detroit for me. I haven't bet it yet, but I'm pretty sure I am.
Me and TV Jones have been in lockstep in a lot of these games, except for the Brewers series where I've been just Cubs. Yeah, I'm gonna go with TV Jones, a better team at plus money. Scooble's gonna choke. TV Jones, dude, you gotta come back Friday night. I know you usually don't come on Friday night, but
from the car. Please.
You gonna give us a car broadcast?
I'm gonna be down in Madison. I'm going to the Packers. I'm going to the Badgers Iowa game.
I'm on Wisconsin.
Cell reception in Madison.
I'm on Wisconsin plus 5.
They got cell reception down there in Madison.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We're good.
Matt, you're betting they're gonna lose this game 23-3.
So, no. I think Wisconsin's gonna win. I think you're gonna see it.
No, stop. We're not good.
All right,
we're not gonna win a game the rest of the year.
After this one,
find the win.
No, he's not
Trevor,
joking.
Yeah, and the Brewer season was over after the first weekend in the Bronx.
He also did say that. But
have a good night, guys.
All right, let's talk some NFL. Oh, I forgot to send Sean Green the email. Send it to him now. All right, talk to you guys later.
All right, go Brew. The Brewers game is Saturday, by the way, not tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow night though.
Oh, I maybe I could. I'll be in touch.
All right. Later, guys. All right. Just sent the email to Sean. Get him on. Get his thoughts on what just happened. All right, just send him the link. All right, so how about that game? How about the New York Football Giants? I have some thoughts. To share. Wait till he gets on. Should have sent him the email like 2 minutes ago. Didn't really give him much time to join. Yeah, no, the Georgia Southern Miss game just went over too. Nice little Thursday night. You love to see it. Crispy at the over. Yeah, Wags was big on the over in the group chat too. Well, let me make sure I sent this to the right email. Yeah, I sent it to the right one. I'm just putting up a poll. Is the Eagles window closed? Cast your votes. I'm going to try sending him the email again. Maybe he didn't get it. Yeah, here he is. Yeah, well, I forgot. I was supposed to send it to him right when the stream started. I forgot. All right. What a Thursday. You know what? Hold on.
Hey. Oh no, he's got the Giants hat. Digging it out of the... You forgot to send the link, much like the Eagles forgot to show up. That was a complete disaster by the Eagles.
Yeah, that wasn't a close game that bounced the other way. You got the shit beat out of you.
Yeah. No, there's no other. It was top to bottom. I mean, in some ways, it's not like, hey, this guy screwed us, the refs screwed us. It was just a complete disaster. I mean, starting with the offensive line, didn't show up, didn't have a good game. And then on the defensive line, obviously not having Jalen Carter, that was huge, but then losing Quinyon Mitchell, again, not making excuses, but they just losing those guys didn't help, and the team just did not show up top to bottom. So complete disaster. Hurts had a bad turnover in the red zone. But bad loss. The positive is the Eagles are 4-2. They have what I think are potentially winnable games against the Vikings, and then a revenge game against the Giants. They have the extra time to prepare for the Vikings, so maybe a mini bye. Maybe they can figure their shit out. They certainly need to. But, certainly horrible loss, but they're 4-2, 2 games, and then the bye. So the season's not over, but obviously bad loss.
Yeah, I mean, and dropping a road division game to a bad team isn't necessarily – it happens. It's part of the NFL.
It's not great, but, again, like we look at these games all the time where for me it's always a red flag when you can't make a case for the other team. You're like, how could this Giants team show up? Well, in hindsight, it's pretty obvious, right? It's Thursday Night Football. They're a huge division dog. They got a young quarterback that the defense has never played. They don't know how to scheme him up. But shout out to Jackson Dart. He played well. They moved the ball, and really it was just the Giants defense I thought played pretty well. Really, it was just the Eagles, just kind of a no-show here on a short week on the road in a division spot. Not going to make any excuses. They just laid an egg. But I don't think their season's over, but certainly a bad loss for them.
Yeah, what do you think? He seems like a cool guy, and he's good at what he does. I don't necessarily love Kirk Herbstreit as the color, but he's awesome. I was wondering if you is that a crazy thing?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
that's just something I had written down.
Well, it's tough because I always. Anyone that, Michaels and Madden was just such a great run after some are all in Madden. So it's really like you're not going to be John Madden. And there are just a couple moments where maybe it's like, when, Ojulari made a tackle. He's like 13 makes a great tackle. It's like that feels like a college vibe, and maybe that's nitpicking too much. Also, I'm a guy who loves dogs, but like when there's all these photos and videos of like his dog hanging out while Jake Elliott's trying to warm up for kicks, like it feels like a bit much when you show Lee Corso taking a Southwest flight, and meanwhile, there's a video of Herbstreit's dog looking out the private plane window. I mean, God bless him. If I could take a private plane, I like dogs. It feels like a lot with the dog. And again, I'm pro dog, so maybe he is great, but and I like Al Michaels. Maybe he's losing his fastball. I think that's probably a bit premature, but it's there certainly are. I mean, if we're going after color commentators and play-by-play people, I think Mark Sanchez probably has to be first on the list.
Not the best timing for Mark.
I mean, so if you're in the play-by-play or color game, you probably have a nice little job security because Mark Sanchez isn't seeing the booth for a long time.
I just feel like and again, I like him a lot. Seems like so I don't mean it as an attack on him. I just feel like he never says anything. He never adds any sort of personality to anything. And you know what? This guy takes a lot of heat, but I actually think Collinsworth does a great job. I think he's great.
Yeah. No, there's moments certainly where I'm with certain fan bases that are like, oh, he's at, whatever, Collinsworth. But Collinsworth's crew, I think Collinsworth and Tirico, right? I would say probably the number one crew. As much as it pains me to say it, Aikman and Buck probably
Aikman does great. They're good too.
Yeah.
Well, you know what it is the NFL fans, and we can get into it in a sec. We don't have to ramble on about this, but NFL fans, they're very negative. So people say they hate Collinsworth, but it's those same people be like, I hate Chris Collinsworth. I hate the refs. I hate Adam Schefter. Then it's like, it sounds like you just hate the NFL. You hate Goodell. It sounds like you just don't like the NFL. Maybe you just hate everything in your life. I think Collinsworth's awesome.
No, I for the most part, I like Collinsworth. He has some moments where he's aggravating, and I think maybe that's the problem with Herbstreit is he's just, in my mind, I just associate him so much with college football. It's tough to be like, oh yeah, he was also, because in your brain you're like, you're not watching all this college football and also being such an expert on the history of the NFL and the game and everything else. So, and it's like huge shoes to fill with replacing Madden. So I think he's got his work cut out for him. But yeah, I mean, he was certainly not the thing I was most pissed off about this Thursday Night Football. But yes, I'm not a huge Herbstreit guy.
Yeah, I just not for this job is more the take rather than like just like
good.
him.
He just seems more like and he does a great job at college. So yeah, I don't know what the move is there.
Yeah, it's not the best broadcast. Al Michaels, not quite the same. There's a couple times where he says something and he's like, and he pulls in the catch, and I'm like, no, he didn't.
He's losing the fastball a little bit. So I love Al, so I don't want to be too hard on him.
Oh no, he's got the respect.
He's getting up there.
He honestly seems like the type of guy that would laugh, be like, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I'm on.
Yeah. All right. We got 4 games to get to. I hate a couple of your picks. Like hate them. It's gonna be a full one. So this first one, you're on Denver, right?
Yes. Like the Broncos here. Again, this is a fade of the New York Jets more than anything. And you see these games overseas in London, and I just default to, hey, who's a better institution? Who's a better organization, right? The Broncos are massive. And you look at the Jets. The Jets have not gotten a turnover. This is what's interesting about this game is that if this was at MetLife, I might be on the Jets here. But I think the fact that it's taking place in London is a tough game. I just can't imagine you're flying over to London for a game you're going to overlook. And overlooking the opponent is really the only way I see this Broncos team losing this game. And the Jets have just been a complete disaster. As much as I was like cautiously optimistic about them with like, hey, Aaron Glenn can turn around this defense. They have a bunch of talent. Oh, Justin Fields, he can get some points on, with his legs. The Jets are Fields is 0-26 when the opponent scores 21 points. I think the Broncos are going to score 21 points against this Jets defense.
Wait, that's a real stat?
Yeah, he's 0-26 straight up when the opposing team scores 21 points, which is so weird because you watch him and it's like, man, he has moments. Now, certainly he's super slow to process, and obviously that's been kind of his greatest weakness. But then there's moments where he's super explosive, and he's won me a lot of money with his anytime touchdown, which is like, plus 250, plus 260, I think FanDuel has, which is always fun to play. I have like a long shot him, 150-1, most rushing TDs in the league. That's hanging on there, but yeah, to me, it's like I can't make a case for the Jets, and favorites traditionally do pretty well over in London.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't one of the ones I hate. I do have a bet in this game. I'm on the under. I was on 44.5. It's at 43. I was on the under. There was a Broncos fan that got really pissed off last week when I said this. I don't think the Broncos offense is good. Not just like, oh no, it's not very. I think it's a below average offense. I mean, even that Cincinnati game, which is the game they won comfortably, no offense has ever been put in a more favorable situation than the Broncos offense were put in that game. What's his name? Browning was giving the ball out immediately.
No, they should have won by more, right?
Yeah, you look at the end of the game and you're like, honestly, they finished the game with 28 points. That's actually a little disappointing considering what was going on in that game. And then last week, the couple drives there at the end, but they weren't doing much. And this is an Eagles defense that doesn't look like the Super Bowl champion Eagles defense as of right now. So I'm not. It's a great road win, but didn't really change my mind about the offense. I mean, we just saw Scottaboo and Jackson Dart piecing them up. So I don't think this Broncos offense is good. And the thing with the Jets offense, at what point So if you look at the actual number, the last 2 games, they're averaging 7 yards per play. 7.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and I fell for it last week when I was on this show
Me too.
talking about the Jets against the Cowboys. Cowboys defense is horrible. You're at home. You're 0-4. That's the time we need to see a pulse from this Jets team. And again, I'm probably with you. Like, if this was in any other place except London, where Sean Payton is 2-0, straight up 2-0 ATS, again, small sample size, but Aaron Glenn has never done that. And if you're losing control of your team, which it kind of feels like Aaron Glenn is, and you're going overseas, I think that's a tough spot to manage the team. And yeah, this is less about being stoked about the Broncos and just fading the New York Jets here.
Yeah, if I think another reason I like the under is I think the Jets offense is good enough to contribute to the under. What I mean is they're good enough to run the ball, move the chains a couple times to get to midfield to punt, rather than, I mean, sometimes an offense is so bad that they actually hurt the under. I think the Jets offense, they've been running the football in the last 2 games. They're averaging 6.8 yards per carry. So they've been running the ball. I think they're good enough to get the ball to midfield. And I honestly, I think I would lean towards the Jets on the side. I did bet the under. This isn't one of your picks that I hate. The next one, well, actually, the last one is the one that I strongly disagree. This one, I'm on the other side, but I'm not conviction. I am on the Dolphins here. You're on the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm on the Chargers here, and I understand being on the case for the Dolphins. Hey, little frisky home dog, but this is kind of when we like this Chargers team, right? When they're on the road, when they're facing a very soft passing defense. You look at the body language. You just look at this Chargers defense that let Bryce Young come back against them. I think the Chargers are going to be able to throw on this Dolphins defense early and often. I think Justin Herbert's going to be able to be picking up first downs left and right with his legs. I just don't think there's much going on with this Dolphins defense. I mean, the Panthers were down 17-0 against them and came back. I think that's a red flag. And you have a very desperate team coached by Harbaugh, who I think Harbaugh is a much better coach than Mike McDaniel, who is just – I think he's kind of on the last edge of losing his team. There was even a case you could make of like the Dolphins. Oh, hey, maybe the vibes will be better now that they got rid of Tyreek Hill. No, they collapsed in that game. I get it. The Chargers offensive line is banged up. What's your case for the Dolphins? Because I think the Chargers are going to be able to move the ball against them. And
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. I would lean towards over as well. This Dolphins offense, the Dolphins team, whenever they're dead, you can always count on them to wake up back at Hard Rock. The offense, I mean, even this year, they've been terrible. Their offense at Hard Rock, 27 points per game, 6.6 yards per play. The Patriots game and the Jets game, those are the 2 games the Dolphins offense looked good. They're only 2 games at home. And that's kind of been the whole case. I mean, at home in Miami, you can count on this offense to make moves, and you can count on McDaniel to scheme things up. And we haven't seen the Chargers defense feel the effects of not having Khalil Mack and Perryman out there yet. I think, you know what it reminds me of? Do you remember? I actually am very confident you're going to remember this. It was like 2 or 3 years ago. The Dolphins and Chargers played on opening day, and it was like 48-45 or something.
Yeah.
Like, you know the game I'm talking about, right? Yep. I think it's gonna be like that. I think it's gonna be back and forth. Maybe not 80 points, but I think both offenses are gonna look good. And it's not so much the Chargers offense. I think Herbert will be able to figure it out because the Dolphins defense is pretty bad. They get Storm Duck back, but who cares? I think the Chargers defense is also struggling, and we haven't really seen it yet, and we're going to see it in this one. Missing those 2 pieces is huge, and we haven't really seen that exploited yet. So I think Tua's going to have a good game, even though he was limited in practice also, which is another. Looks like he was taken off the injury report. That's good.
Yeah, and I see the case for the Dolphins. I guess in my head, it's just just the organization seems to be spiraling out. When Tua is saying stuff like, "Hey, if I throw 5 touchdowns or 5 interceptions, my kids love me anyway," that seems like a guy who knows the end is near. Meanwhile, I still think Herbert and Harbaugh, and you look at like them showing up on the East Coast, and again, the Chargers are kind of like the Seahawks. For the Chargers, there's a longer sample size of this team playing better, at least ATS on the road. But especially with the Seahawks and Mike McDonald, like they're much better on the road than they are at home ATS. So this is kind of like their wheelhouse. And Herbert has been 13-6 ATS in the Eastern time zone, which normally is like a trip up spot for these West Coast teams. So back-to-back losses. I guess I struggle to see Harbaugh losing 3 games in a row here with this Chargers team. I understand the O-line's banged up. I understand their injuries. They're perpetually injured. They are the Chargers. But I think this might be a get-right spot for them. So that's my counter. But I see the Dolphins angle.
Yeah, I think the Dolphins offense could look good, but we'll see. It's the last pick is the one I strongly disagree.
That's a great
I think the Bills are going to dust them. All right. Cardinals, Colts. You're still on the Colts at over a touchdown, right? Because this line's been on the move with the Kyler Murray stuff.
It seems like Jacoby Brissett will probably. I don't know. What's your take on it? When we talk, I mean, when we broke this game down, I was thinking Kyler Murray would play, and he's not 100%, which to me is the sweet spot. But what's your take? Do you think we see Kyler on Sunday?
I would lean towards no, and it kind of worries me. I have the Colts at 4.5. I took it right away.
Yeah.
So, but now, honestly, now that it could be Brissett, it like worries me a little bit. Obviously, I still I'm not picking the Cardinals. But I like the Brissett. The possibility of Brissett is kind of like a wrench getting thrown into my plan. I loved it with Kyler.
Yeah.
I was like 4.5. What?
I'll still make the case here for the Colts at 7.5 because I knew this was in the realm of possibility. I mean, Jacoby Brissett, as much as we're like, oh, he's a revenge game and it's someone besides Kyler. This offense, I think, is going to struggle, and they relied when they were working well. The Cardinals offense, they relied on Kyler's mobility, and I think Jacoby Brissett is a statue back there. And this Colts team is really good. I'm kicking myself for not giving them out as one of my plays on your show last week because, man, I really liked them. I really liked them going up against that Raiders team, and it feels like for me, this Cardinals team has just kind of hit a wall with Jonathan Gannon getting fined. I mean, how many times have we seen a head coach get fined? I know they're saying all the right stuff. Hey, this is actually good for the locker room that our head coach got fined because he's yelling at a
That's
player.
A hell of a twist.
I mean, the Cardinals, it was crazy because I had them on like a random pleaser card where I was laying 13.5. You could make a case it was a bad beat for a pleaser, let alone the survivor or the money line aspect.
Right.
The fact that they blew that game and now you're going on the road, I think I'm going to look to the simple handicap of this. I don't think they can stop Jonathan Taylor. And you look at the Cardinals second in the league in receptions allowed to the tight end. This is just going to be a smash spot for Tyler Warren. I love Tyler Warren in the props. And I think Danny Dimes is going to have an easy day dinking and dunking to Tyler Warren. They're going to move the ball. And I don't think they can slow down Jonathan Taylor. And on the other side, if Jacoby Brissett is out there, I'm still a little skeptical that he can hang in this game. I get it. The skepticism of like, oh, the Colts laying 7.5. That's a bit crazy. I understand that skepticism, but I just don't think. And Kyler is good as a dog. Jacoby Brissett hasn't played in a long time. I'm happy taking the Colts laying 7.5.
Yeah, and so obviously I agree, and I'm not shifting over to the Cardinal side. That's for sure. If you remember the Joshua Dobbs Cardinals era. He was doing a lot of it with his athleticism, though, and Brissett's kind of a statue, which gives me a little more solace. I mean, I think everything points to a comfortable Colts win, and I think it would still have to be the Colts at the current number as well. I agree.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're sharp for getting that. What was it, 4.5 when it opened? Hammer that. But yeah, I still like it here at 7.5, and I get a Jacoby Brissett. You're like, hey, it's not Kyler, but it still is Jacoby Brissett. So I feel comfortable laying the biggest number here.
Yeah, it's not like Jacoby Brissett gives you like an array of offense, or Dobbs is kind of like a lethal weapon when he's on.
Yeah. I mean, when I'm betting on backup quarterbacks, I like for them to have some mobility or some sort of angle there, or at least maybe a Joe Flacco type, or at least like you've seen them throw it around a bunch, and Flacco's kind of lost his luster there because as you age, you become a statue back there, and it's too easy for defenses to scheme up against you.
Yeah, agreed. Now we get to the strong disagreement. Man, this is going to be a beatdown.
Oh wow, okay.
Sean's on the
Well, so-
Falcons, by the way, just so you guys know.
Yes, I'm on the Falcons. Kyle is on the Bills, which I get, especially coming off the loss. But here's my case for the Falcons. I think this Falcons team is a completely different team at home versus on the road. And they've been they've been an incredibly tough out at home. And this Bills defense, watching them against the Patriots, and we'll probably see it pop its head up in the playoffs. Like, to me, the Bills defense is not a championship caliber defense. I get it. If you're going to say, like, hey, Josh Allen in a dome, he's just going to rip up this Falcons defense. I agree to a certain point, but you look at the Falcons. Falcons are number one defensive DVOA. Like, they actually have a pass rush. And in fact, like, the Falcons defense has been part of the reason for this early success. And then on the other side, what is the weakness for this Buffalo Bills team? It's slowing down running backs. Bijan Robinson is going to have himself a hell of a game against this Bills defense. Matt Milano is not 100%. Ed Oliver, we'll see if we get him out there against the game. But Josh Allen can do a lot. But I think the Falcons hang around in this game. They've had 2 weeks to prepare. Now, certainly I love this a little bit more if the Bills would have won against the Pats and as a look-ahead spot, non-conference road favorite, and certainly off the loss, Josh Allen, you would imagine they're excited for this game. But I think this Falcons team is going to be a tricky out for them on the road for the Bills. But why am I wrong, Kyle? Why do you like the Bills here?
Well, I heard you talk about the Falcons' run game with Bijan Robinson, and the Bills struggle to stop the run, and that's true. But here's the thing, man, McDermott, he does that. That's how he coaches. Go ahead, hand it off, take 5 yards. Eventually, one of their defensive linemen is going to make a play. You're going to be in a passing down, and you're going to have to drop back to pass against that pass rush and that secondary. And Penix ain't the guy, man. Penix ain't the guy. So, yeah, Bijan Robinson, probably a great play in fantasy. I'm sure he'll average 5 yards per carry, and I'm sure the Falcons will move the chains, and then they'll get to the 40, stall out, or Penix will throw a pick. And I couldn't tell you how many times I've been on the receiving end of this where I go in and I fade the Bills, and I'm like, guys, they're going to be able to run the ball. And they do run the ball and still lose by 2 touchdowns. So, yeah, I do think the Falcons are going to be able to run the ball, but I don't think McDermott really gives a shit, to be honest. They go ahead, run the ball, get the midfield, and then eventually you're going to be in a passing situation, and that pass rush and that secondary will just step up and not let you make the big play and finish a drive. You're going to have to settle for a field goal. It's kind of how McDermott does it, and I feel like the Falcons are the perfect offense to fall into that trap. And on the other side, the Falcons' defense has been pretty good. Not wrong about that. Man, Josh Allen pissed off, especially – they called like a conservative-ass game.
Yeah.
What the hell were they? I think they're going to light it up. I think Bills could score 45 points in this game. I think it's a beatdown. But, yeah, I'm on the Bills.
No, I see the counter. And certainly, like I said, I like it better if they would have beat the Pats. But, again, why didn't they beat the Patriots? It's because they struggled in a lot of these areas. Now, certainly the turnovers are going to be huge. But, man, that James Pierce, that Falcons pass rush, I think is no joke. And I just think this Atlanta team is going to surprise some people with 2 weeks to prepare against this Bills defense. This Bills defense has not stopped anyone. Like, yeah, maybe they stopped the Jets, but who other than that have they really slowed down? They didn't really stop the Patriots. They certainly didn't stop the Ravens. I mean, I guess they kind of did at the end. I just don't know about this Bills defense on the road. I think this is a game. So, and I think the Falcons are live here. I get Josh Allen off a loss. Maybe I'm playing with fire, but I think the Falcons can make it a game.
Bills defense to score a touchdown in this one.
Well, certainly if we're conceding a Bills defensive touchdown, that's going to be tough to cover the 4.
All right, Sean. So, Sean, you guys probably already know who he is, but for those that don't, Sean, where can they find you?
Yeah, Sports Gambling Podcast. We pick every NFL game against the spread. We do a college game where we pick 17 games, ATS. We also do a prop show. You can get it all over on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Sports Gambling Podcast. Appreciate it, Kyle.
Yep, I just typed it into the chat. That's how it's spelled. Just type it right into the YouTube search. They did their NFL show. That was that last night or 2 nights ago?
Yep, last night. Yep,
last night. So
every Wednesday night.
Yeah, there's a video up where they go through the entire slate. That's up. That was last night. So, Sean, have a good night, man. Oh, I forgot to send the next email now.
Ignore the Eagles play. Thank you, Kyle.
I'll talk to you later, man.
Let it ride.
All right. Let me send an email over to the Duck, and we'll get this going. Get into some college. All right. What do we got up first? Duck, if you're listening, I just sent the email now. All right. South Florida. Man, Duck better be on North Texas in this game. That's all I'll say. We've backed North Texas together on this show like 3 times already this season. If he's about to come on and fade North Texas in the biggest game of the year, I'm gonna be displeased. All right, poll is up. South Florida, North Texas. I bet this game too. Let me text them, let them know that I sent the link. There he is. Link sent. I try not to send all the links in the beginning because the background gets crowded and there's like people are trying to talk and there's like 6 people in there waiting and you see everyone. So I try to time it out, but I messed it up. Sternberger, Mean Green, what's up? That's what I'm saying. I agree with G. South Florida, I wouldn't say suspect. Like Byron Brown can play. They're not a bad offense. It's just, they're very reliant on big plays, and it looks very stale at times. Then I'd rather take an offense that I can count on to sustain drives. Where South Florida, you get the big play with Byron Brown. It makes a cool highlight, but then you'll see a couple drives stall out. You won't see that in the highlights. So he said, be right there. Yeah, this is a big game here. We were all, I mean, before the season, you would think Tulane, Navy. These are 2 of the best teams in the conference right here, South Florida and North Texas. This conference is kind of flying under the radar, pretty cool. Whereas some of the other conferences are kind of going through it. Like the MAC is pretty bad this year. The Mountain West has gone through it. Don't sleep on the AAC. It's a cool little conference here. Navy's 5-0. Memphis is 6-0. Tulane, North Texas, South Florida. There's 5 legitimate teams that go in this conference right up the top. Someone said, I need to bounce back from these Eagles. Yeah, not the Eagles night, man. I should have bet Kennesaw. I don't know if any of you guys bet Kennesaw. I liked Kennesaw a lot, plus 6.5. They won 35-7. Man, Jerry Mack has that team rolling in the right direction. People aren't really. Kennesaw's won 4 in a row. That team can play, and they didn't even start Odom at quarterback. He got banged up last week. From what I was reading, he was fine. Turn on the game, Odom's not even playing quarterback. It's Dexter Williams. Didn't matter. They still won 35-7 with the different quarterback. Man, Kennesaw, Jerry Mack's looking like a hell of a hire there. 4 wins in a row for Kennesaw State. Cardinals are DOA. Now, you know what? That Cardinals one, I liked it when I first bet the Colts at 4.5. I loved it. I was like, oh my God, this is a smash. I thought Kyler Murray was playing. Now that Kyler Murray's banged up and it's looking like it might be Brissett. You know when weirdness gets thrown into the process where it's like, oh man, there might be some weirdness. There might be some weirdness askew. Duck. Not much, man. Let's talk some college football. Oh, first, let's get your name on the screen. All right. So I was just telling the fine folks that I would be very disappointed if you're about to come on here and fade the Mean Green at home in the biggest game of the year.
Dude, I couldn't do that.
Let's go.
I couldn't do that.
I'm on it too.
I couldn't. Yeah, I mean, if you just think about it, I mean, both teams are really solid, but man, there's just so much going on here. Absolutely the game of the year in the conference. And, you know, to their credit, South Florida has played well. They do have the strength of schedule advantage, having played at both Florida and Miami. But I mean, that UNT defense is for real. 13th overall in EPA per play, 23rd in explosiveness surrendered defensively, 15th in finishing drives. This secondary is first in the country in pass EPA allowed. And 12th in pass play success rate. They have a real opportunity here to shut down what USF wants to do offensively. And we've got to look at USF and really consider if this bunch is really solid offensively or if they were just able to destroy two terrible defenses in recent weeks in Charlotte and South Carolina State. I kind of lean to that. I mean, this team got shut down completely for long stretches against Miami, Florida, and even Boise. And on the other side, Mastamaker has been just lights out. 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 1,247 passing yards, doesn't make mistakes. Their North Texas's third down offense and their red zone offense has just been exquisite this year. 30 out of 31 red zone trips have resulted in scores, 25 touchdowns. Like, as long as North Texas can provide a little pressure against Byron Brown, this team is showing up on Friday night. There's no question.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we even have to discuss the North Texas offense. At home in this building, doesn't matter if it's this year, last year, 2023, Eric Morris is putting up points at home in this building. I like the South Florida defense, but there's maybe 10, 15 defenses in the country I would take to stop this offense in this building. They always score points. They're averaging like 48 points a game at home. So that was set in stone before I even made a decision. I'm like, all right, I know North Texas is scoring points because they always score points at home. That dates back multiple years. So I knew that. So the question then became, do I trust South Florida to keep up? And look, I like Byron Brown, and I've been big on South Florida, big on them in the summer. The offense, I was just talking about it, a little too reliant on the big plays. And like Duck was just saying, there's been several times where the offense looks very stale. And in this game, it's not that I expect North Texas to shut this offense down or anything like that. North Texas offense is greatly improved, but I'm not expecting a shutdown defensive performance. It's just in a game like this with this North Texas offense, I think all it takes is get stalled out on 1 or 2 drives, then all of a sudden you're down 13. It's the fact that they're going to have to play catch up that's going to put them in a rough spot. It's going to make their play calling a little predictable. So, yeah, I'm on North Texas. I personally think this should be more North Texas minus 2.5. Has it moved it? So they're like -1, -1.5 now. They were dogs earlier. It's getting closer to where I should be. I understand if people have South Florida power ranked slightly higher than North Texas. I get it a little bit, but there's no way they should be favored on the road. So it's getting closer to where I should think it should be. But I think North Texas wins this one.
Yeah, I mean, you just talk about a complete spot play, too, for North Texas. 13 days to prepare for this one. South Florida comes off the game last week against Charlotte and had to at least be somewhat focused on that conference foe. And so, yeah, this is a good scheduling advantage. The people in Denton are going to show up tomorrow night for this one. This is just going to be such a huge game for North Texas, an electric environment. This is going to be a fun one.
Speaking of wagons, let's talk Old Dominion Monarchs. This team is a wagon. And I don't know if you remember, we talked about Old Dominion. We were both big on Old Dominion coming into the season. They were actually my pick to win the conference, but you were big on them also. They are living up to the hype. We're talking 3 wins in a row by 2 touchdowns or more. In fact, the last one was by 40. Granted, it was against Coastal, so maybe we don't throw them a parade for it. So the way I looked at this one was I was trying to find reasons to bet Marshall, because the reasons to bet Old Dominion are pretty obvious. They're smoking every single person they see. Colton Joseph looking like one of the most explosive players in the conference. So the reasons to bet Old Dominion were pretty obvious, right? The reasons to bet Marshall. So first off, the defense looks pretty tough, and I think that was to be expected with Tony Gibson coming in. He was with NC State. They always had a tough physical defense while he was DC there. He didn't have the best roster, but the defense looks pretty strong at Marshall. So, okay, home game, they could play some defense. Don't necessarily hate that. But what shot that down is they haven't played anybody. They played Eastern Kentucky, Middle Tennessee, Louisiana Lafayette. What are the Cajuns on their 4th-string quarterback now? Like, that offense isn't good at all. So the defense is looking pretty good for Marshall. They haven't played a decent offense in 4 weeks. And early in the season when they saw Missouri State, Jacob Clark lit them up a little bit. So even though the Marshall defensive numbers look pretty strong, I'm not really buying it. That's number one. Specifically, Marshall struggled with explosive plays. Colton Joseph is a walking explosive play. I don't know if you've ever seen this dude play. He's like fast as hell. He throws the ball downfield. He throws the ball underneath. This kid does it all. Colton Joseph is the quarterback of Old Dominion, for those that don't know who I'm talking about. But he's an explosive play machine. It's just nothing but big plays from this kid. So Marshall defense struggling with explosive plays, that's a concern. And on the other side, I was trying to think, okay, so what can Marshall do offensively? Maybe they can run the ball a little bit. They have been running the ball efficiently in their last 4 games, 4.8 yards per carry, success rate per rush over 46%. So, okay, they've been running the ball a little bit recently. But again, against who? The same teams. Middle Tennessee's defensive front. They haven't played anybody. Not to mention they're dealing with some injuries. They lost their right guard and their running back a few weeks back, and we haven't really noticed it because they played such bad defenses. I think it'll be noticeable here. It's Old Dominion, the wagon. You with me?
Yeah, absolutely, no question. One of the first plays I made this week was laying it with Old Dominion. Even though they're on the road and they've got a big look-ahead spot next week to James Madison, Marshall just doesn't have the horses to keep up. You look at the victories for Marshall this season: Eastern Kentucky and Middle Tennessee State. Eastern Kentucky's a middle-of-the-road FCS opponent, and then Middle Tennessee is a bottom 10 FBS opponent. But if you just go look at the grades on PFF, which is an advanced analytics website that you can use to kind of assess how teams are performing during the season game by game. Marshall's middle of the road in the Sun Belt, but a very poor pass blocking team, a very poor run blocking team, a team that allows a lot of havoc against them. Old Dominion this season, 18 sacks and 41 tackles for loss. They're coming after these guys defensively. It's really been Old Dominion's defense that has allowed this team to create separation. And if you just look at the last couple of weeks for Old Dominion, absolutely has shut down the opponents that they played. Coastal Carolina last week just could do absolutely nothing offensively. Liberty the same. I mean, this team was up 31-0 against Virginia Tech before the Hokies were even able to score a single point. And you look all the way back to week 1, that exceptional showing on the road to open the season against Indiana, played them to 13. Nobody else has done that. And so, yeah, this team is absolutely for real. I have a James Madison future to win the Sun Belt at plus 400. And I don't know, man. Old Dominion might be the best team in this league.
Yeah, they're an absolute wagon. Agree. Now, we're going to the next one, and I'm going to have to pass you the rock on this one because Sunday afternoon, I'm jumping on some openers. I grabbed Maryland at plus 6.5. Like 24 hours later, it's down to 4. I'm the man, feeling like the man. I start working on other things. 2 days later, it's back up at 6.5. I even see a few 7s. So I am confused as to who bought this Nebraska number back up to 6.5. I'm on Maryland plus 6.5. About 3 days ago, I felt like I was in a great spot. Now I'm a little nervous. Are you selling your Terp stock?
You know, I think there's a lot of varying opinion in the market on what Maryland is and how good this team actually is. You know, the problem is that they completely blew that game against Washington, which they had firm control of for 50 minutes. And so maybe there's a hangover effect. I thought they caught Washington in a pretty good spot. And I honestly think they catch Nebraska in a really good spot as well. You know, they're off that big win against Michigan State, following that up off the bye week with, tough physical game against Michigan. But this is just one where Nebraska has just shown me very little defensively. They can't stop the run. They don't stop the explosive plays. They're good situationally, are the Huskers defensively. But outside of that, I walked away from their game against Michigan State more impressed with how the Spartans were kind of able to hang in there with them. I thought Michigan State really gave Nebraska some opportunities. There were some big special teams plays, long interception return that set Nebraska up. I didn't come away exceedingly impressed with Nebraska overall. And then when you just factor in some of the advanced metrics, Nebraska is really, the pass rush is weaker. The run defense is weaker based on all the personnel that they lost. And I've been impressed with Maryland's freshman quarterback, Malik Washington, this season. I think they can throw it around against these guys a little bit. I would expect them to keep this game tight.
All right. I feel a little more reassured now. When that first opened, I grabbed the 6.5, and I was like, guys, this is going to close at 3.5. Was shocked to see it get bought back up. And so I was trying to figure out. So I agree with you. That was my initial thought on it, and I still agree now that there's no way Nebraska's this much better than Maryland this year based on what we've seen. There's no way you could arrive there. So I was trying to figure out what people were possibly seeing, what they like about Nebraska here. And I suppose you mentioned how Nebraska's defense been struggling against the run. It's been bad. If you just isolate it to their Power 4 games, Cincinnati, Michigan, and Michigan State, I had the numbers here somewhere. I don't have it. They're allowing like 6.5 yards per carry or something crazy. They struggled against the run in all three of their big games. The offense didn't even look good in those games either. But Maryland hasn't shown us much of a run game. Their offense has really been centered around Malik Washington being a superstar. So I suppose maybe you're saying, if you're one of the people betting Nebraska, maybe you're saying this Nebraska offense isn't really equipped to exploit the weakness of the Nebraska the Maryland offense isn't equipped to exploit the weakness of the Nebraska defense, I guess. But even despite that, I still don't get how you lay almost a touchdown on the road. So I agree with you. I'm on the Terps. Look, they blew the lead, but they didn't blow it for me. I covered, so I'm cool. The Terps are cool in my book. I didn't have the money line. But yeah, I mean, they allowed 3 straight touchdowns to blow a 20-0 lead against Washington last week. So I suppose you could say the air's been let out of their balloon a bit.
Yeah, but the other thing too is Maryland could have some stuff up their sleeve too. Nebraska's run defense, 127th in EPA per rush, 129th in rushing play success rate, and you hit the nail on the head when you factor out Houston Baptist and Akron. It's like 6.5 yards per carry surrendered on the ground this season. And we've seen it all season when teams have to go on the road in league play for the first time. The whole operation can just look a little different. Now, Nebraska played a neutral site game in the opener against Cincinnati. They've been at home the rest of the season. They haven't had a true road game yet this year, and this is a long travel spot. This will be tricky for the Huskers.
I agree. All right. We're in lockstep so far, and I believe we're in lockstep on this one, even though the number just came down. You can get 10s now. It's up at 12.5 yesterday, so we're both on the road runners. I know this because we texted about it. So go ahead, UTSA.
Yeah, I mean, this is one that I really, really like, and I just look at this for UTSA as an absolutely complete get-off-the-mat spot. They just went on the road in league play and lost in embarrassing fashion to Temple. And this team had so many preseason expectations to try to be a real competitor in the American Conference this season. Well, if they're going to do that, they're really going to have to get it going offensively. And that really starts now, because if you look at what's coming down the pipe for UTSA the rest of the way, they have major, major players left on the schedule. They have to then go to North Texas, they play Tulane, and they go to South Florida back to back to back. I'm not suggesting that they're talented enough to win any of those games, but in their mind, they believe that they are. And so now you look at a team that's really played kind of just average offensively. Owen McCown has completed just 60%, 200 yards per game, 3 touchdown passes over the last two weeks. But Rice overall defensively does not have the horses to keep up. Rice is going to try to truncate this game down and really trim down the possessions, but that only works until you're playing from behind. This defense is 130th in explosiveness given up and 97th in defensive havoc. So we're going to have very little pressure on Owen McCown. Rice has 0 sacks the last 2 weeks. This explosive offense is going to get going. We should see this rushing attack completely gash Rice. This offensive line is first in the country in rush play explosiveness achieved and 17th in rush EPA. And Bob Henry, the running back for UTSA, 8.3 yards per carry with 7 touchdowns on the ground. This is going to get really ugly. You talk about the loud environment in the Alamo Dome, Rice on the road. I mean, this Rice offense couldn't move it against Florida Atlantic. I don't see how they're going to move it here. It's going to be major, major trouble, and it's just an offense that's not built to come from behind.
Yeah, absolutely agree with every single word. And you mentioned how UTSA's offensive numbers so far look a little disappointing, and that's correct. They do look a little disappointing. They played 3 of their games on the road, and this particular UTSA team from last year to this year with McCown at quarterback pretty much just got to split their games up. Home games in the Dome, games away from the Dome. This team is a different beast in the Alamo Dome. Last year, they averaged over 42 points per game. I believe they were 6-0 in that dome, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think they lost one. I'm pretty sure they went 6-0. I don't have it in front of me. But they averaged 42 points per game in their home games last year. This year, they've only played 2 games at home. They're averaging 42 points per game, 6.4 yards per play. This offense just works. It's an offense built on explosive plays. It just works in that Alamo Dome. So you get this team indoors. Their offense looks completely different. And Rice is going to try to come into this one and keep up with the UTSA offense in the Alamo Dome running some kind of option? You're going to keep up with UTSA? No way. I agree. This is an absolute boat race. I agree with every single word. I'm on the same thing.
Yeah, one last thing I'll say, too. UTSA playing with revenge. They went to Houston last season and lost at Rice. Rice threw a touchdown pass on the last play of the game to beat these guys. If you don't think UTSA remembers that, I assure you they do.
Yeah, UTSA should put up a big number in this one. But, I mean, Rice might be able to move the chains here and there. The UTSA's defense isn't anything great, so I'm not expecting them to get shut out or anything. But like Duck said, once UTSA gets up 10, it's gonna get rough. All right.
Yeah, Rice, just no explosivity. It's 3-4 yards at a time, no pass game. I believe this is going to go sideways for Rice really quickly.
I agree. Boat race. Next game up, Kansas, Texas Tech. Was this still at 2 touchdowns? 14 and a half. 14 and a half. Man, looks like Joseph Sipp isn't going to play for Kansas. That's their linebacker there. Ugh. I want to take Kansas because I think Jalen Daniels is a superstar, and I think he could score in Lubbock. I don't think he'll be intimidated by the atmosphere. It's very hard to make a case for Kansas defense making a stop here, though. Where are you going? I don't even know what you're about to say. I haven't heard you talk about this game.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of my favorite plays of the week. I laid it with Texas Tech. This is a major spot for Texas Tech to just lay it on a conference opponent. And I'm here to tell you, this Red Raiders defense is absolutely for real. You look at 2.3 yards per carry on the ground, only allowing 52% of passes against them to be completed. 25% of third down conversion attempts have been successful against them. That's very, very low. And only 5 red zone touchdowns given up all season. I mean, the list goes on and on and on for Texas Tech. They are just so buttoned up defensively. When you look at the PFF grades for Texas Tech, they're the top tackling unit in the Big 12, led by their front 7, which has 12 sacks, 28 tackles for loss on the season. They've only played their starters about half the season because they've been sitting out in the second half of blowouts. The coverage unit is strong, and I fully expect this Kansas offensive line to be completely overwhelmed on the road here. Competing in the trenches against Cincinnati and Central Florida is one thing, but this will be a massive test. When you factor in Kansas, their poor execution on third down, only executing at 33% on third down this season, and about half of their red zone trips have ended in touchdowns. Well, what are they doing with the other half? They're turning it over or kicking field goals. I just don't see them being able to keep up. People think so much about Kansas and how well or tough, I guess, they played Missouri. Missouri outgained them by 350 yards. Kansas was gifted a couple of cheap scores with a long interception return for down to the 1 yard line or 2 yard line, and then they had a fumble return touchdown. But I mean, it was like 594 to 250 yardage for Missouri in that game. This is going to be a really one that I think Kansas struggles to keep up in. So I laid it with Texas Tech.
All right. Well, okay. So you're right. The final score of the Missouri game is deceiving. Missouri beat the hell out of Kansas. Spot on with that. They were gifted a couple touchdowns in that game. And I guess the question becomes, and it boils down to, do you think this Texas Tech defense is for real? Do you believe in it? They're 5th in success rate, 5th in PPA. By every single metric, this is a top 3 defense in the country. Where I push back is, in my opinion, we have one data point. Rice Eccles. It was impressive. They beat the hell out of Utah. Brought in the backup quarterback. Didn't matter. Still hung another 20 on them after that. So very impressive game. It's just one data point. I'm not impressed with any of Texas Tech. Houston's terrible. I don't care what their record. That's not a good team. So I'm putting Kansas up, but I can't. I'm not betting it right now. Dude, Jalen Daniels is not the type of guy that's going to be intimidated by Lubbock, and I feel like he has the type of ability where he can score on any defense, and it's ugly. I know.
Yeah, it is ugly. I mean, they should have lost at Central Florida last week. If Cam Fancher's not the guy quarterback in Central Florida, they lose that game. I mean, oof. I don't know, man. It's a lot of faith in the trenches for Kansas. I don't know that they have it.
I will not be betting this game. To be honest, if I would probably go here, 59 over, if I was to bet it. But it's for the show. We'll pick sides. So Kansas. But it's ugly. San Diego State, Nevada. Try to talk me off Choate here. I'm trying to take Choate. I'm like on the fence. I'm about to pull the trigger on Choate. Are you with that?
No, man. I don't know how you could. I mean, their quarterbacks were banged up. Both of them went out. AJ Bianchio and Chuba Purdy went out last game with injury. They were playing a wide receiver at quarterback. I know Fresno State kind of took their foot off the gas, but Nevada was just completely getting whipped here. And now we have the emergence of the passing game with Jaden Denegal, who was throwing dimes last week against Colorado State. That passing attack would unlock so much for Sean Lewis and the flash fast San Diego State offense that they want to run. I just think this team is completely for real. And if you just go to the futures market for San Diego State and you look at where they're priced to win the Mountain West, and then you look at some of the major power ratings as to what the strength of these teams are in totality of the conference, San Diego State's the strongest rated team in the Mountain West, or excuse me, second strongest behind Boise. And they're still like 12 or 13 to 1 to win this conference. But I don't know if there's another game on the schedule that San Diego State's going to lose. They're going to give Boise State everything they can handle and more. This is a 9 or 10 win team. And you look at Nevada, they're going to struggle to win a game the rest of the way this season. And Choate's a really good coach. I don't think they have the pieces. They were decimated in the portal in the offseason, and they just don't have the talent to do what they're trying to do. They're really so limited. The one thing I will say is it's Reno. It's this time of year. It's going to be cold. Maybe that affects the boys from San Diego a little bit more than what you might think. But I think San Diego State is going to pound these guys into the ground.
Okay. So, first of all, I agree with that. San Diego State was my pick to win the Mountain West. So, I feel like I'm turning on a brother of mine here. I'm a big Sean Lewis guy. I've been on San Diego State several times this year. I had the San Diego State money line when they were big dogs and won outright. Who the hell was that against? What the hell was that?
California?
California, yeah. I had San Diego State money line against Cal. So, yeah, I'm a big San Diego State guy, and I've bet on them several times. Picked them to win the conference. So, I agree with every single word. I'm a little concerned that they've looked like crap both times they went on the road. I mean, the last time they went on the road, what did they beat Northern Illinois? 6-3? Northern Illinois is terrible. So I know Northern Illinois is overperforming a little bit. Maybe terrible is not the right word. I thought they were going to be terrible. Maybe they're slightly better than I expected them to be. But Northern Illinois is by no means a good team. And this Nevada team, the defense is starting to come around a little bit. Yes, Duck's right. We don't know who's playing quarterback. Hold on. Check this out. So Chuba Purdy, he was 0 for 4 with 2 interceptions in his last game before they brought in the other guy. I don't even know. They haven't even announced who's going to be playing quarterback. So, yeah, the Nevada offense is an absolute mess. I don't know what they're going to do offensively. But I think between Jeff Choate and they also have a great DC there in Kane Ione, and I think they're going to scheme up. San Diego State's offense has looked not just a little shaky on the road. It's looked straight up bad in their road games. In their road games so far this year, they're averaging 9.5 points per game. Not 19, 9.5. Success rate at 35.4%, under 3.9 yards per play. Until this offense looks even decent on the road, there's no way I can lay a touchdown with this team. I don't trust the offense on the road yet. It's looked terrible every single time they went on the road. So between Choate and Kane Ione, I think San Diego State could struggle after like their big breakout home game against Colorado State, just lay an absolute egg. Maybe Choate hits them with a trick play or something, puts a touchdown up. I think it's going to be an ugly 17-13 San Diego State win, Nevada cover. I want to bet Choate, man. I can't really explain why. I think Choate's going to be sneaky with this one and keep it within the number.
You got a lot of faith in a roster that you
It's
look
bad.
at the composite talent. It's bad. It's really bad. You know, San Diego State's defense, they returned 10 starters from last season, has been a very, very stout unit. They do not give up explosive plays, just 3 yards per carry given up on the ground, 4 yards per play overall given up. The pass defense has been just completely spot on. 50% completion percentage, just 5 touchdowns given up through the air, and 26% given up on third down. So the question for Nevada is, can this team stack together successful plays enough to be ahead of the chains, sustain drives? I really just don't see how the Wolfpack score in this one. Situationally, they're very poor in the red zone. They're very poor on third down. They don't run the ball with any potency. So, I mean, yeah, this might be a real slow burning grinder, and this might be a low scoring slugfest. But I don't see Nevada scoring, I don't know, 10, 13 points. So we get a 20 spot on the board for San Diego State. I'm going to feel pretty good.
Well, you said 13. My score prediction 17-13. That might be within. All right, let's move on to the next one. And the last game up, I am really interested where you're going. I feel like I don't have a feel for this Hawaii team. I had an image in my head of what I thought Hawaii was going to be this year. I thought it was the best defense Timmy Chang's ever had, and I kind of had a vision of what I thought Hawaii would be. And I feel like they veered off course with the Alejado injury, and then there was a couple games that just didn't look anything like I expected. So I feel like Hawaii is not a team I have a feel for. Bryson Barnes looks good to go, though. He left the Vanderbilt game injured. From what I'm reading, he's fully practicing, and he will be playing in this game. So Utah State, Hawaii, I'm all ears.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still not a believer in Hawaii's offensive scheme. It hasn't gotten humming during the Timmy Chang era. They don't run the football very effectively, and now they've seemingly abandoned the run completely. But if you look at the PFF metrics, which I rely on, I think it's a really good website to dive into the analytics of how teams perform week to week. Hawaii has the second worst passing offense grades in the Mountain West for PFF, fourth worst overall passing attack, and the worst rushing attack in the Mountain West. Hawaii offensively, 123rd in EPA per play offensively, 109th in explosiveness, 114th in finishing drives. So many people think about Hawaii, and they think about the run and gun systems of June Jones. They think of Colt Brennan, Bryant Moniz, Cole McDonald at quarterback, all these great players that have played at Hawaii, all the electric receivers. Well, this is not this team, not even close. This offense can't put drives together. They rely so frequently on the explosive play, which they don't get. And if you look at Utah State's defensive metrics, they're a bit skewed based on the fact that they played at Vanderbilt and at Texas A&M earlier this season. But the Utah State defense has actually been pretty good outside of that. Hawaii's offense is just so jerky, and I don't see them putting drives together. Utah State has not allowed a 200-yard passer, let alone 300, but a 200-yard passer this season outside of the SEC opponents, and they can really bottle up this Hawaii pass attack. Hawaii, I mean, just no propensity to run the football, no explosivity in the run game. They've just abandoned it at times this season. I think Bronco Mendenhall's not getting enough credit. The cupboard was bare when he came in. There was no talent on this Utah State roster. They were predicted to be just complete garbage. And he's really made this team very formidable. I think Utah State can run the ball on Hawaii offensively. I think having the mobile quarterback in there in Barnes will really help unlock what they want to do offensively. If you look at Utah State, 12th nationally in rush explosiveness, and Miles Davis, their running back, 6.5 yards per attempt. He's a guy who's going to pop off in this game, I think. Last thing I'll say, you look at the Aggies and their three explosive receivers, Braden Pegon, Brady Boyd, and Brock Lane, all can stretch the field. They connect frequently on deep shots. Well, if you look at Hawaii's defense, 109th in EPA per pass allowed, 91st in pass play success rate, and 100th in pass play explosivity given up. This is absolutely a no-brainer. Utah State's going on the road, and they're going to win this game. Last thing I'll say about the argument, Hawaii's a really heavily penalized group. 45 accepted penalties against Hawaii this season for 404 yards. If you're going to give Utah State some freebies, they're going to take advantage here. So Hawaii is a different team on the island, but they're not winning this game.
Yeah, I agree. I'll put Utah State up, and I got to say, Bronco Mendenhall definitely has made me a believer. I was on the last year, it was Beck and Dampier take, saying like Bronco Mendenhall's getting all the credit for what Beck and Dampier did at New Mexico. This is impressive because New Mexico, like Doug said, they were supposed to be terrible this year. That being said, I mean, their 3 wins were home against UTEP, home against Air Force, who can't stop anybody, by the way. I don't know where that came from, or Air Force is the worst defense in there. I don't know where that came from. But and then McNeese. So the wins are a little bit like they were games that they were supposed to win. But honestly, they were competitive competitive may not be the word. They were able to move the ball on Vanderbilt, and they even made a few plays against Texas A&M. This is a real huge test for Utah State. I'm a little worried that we haven't seen them win a road game, but maybe this is the one. Yeah, it would only be Utah State, so I'll agree with you. I feel like these teams, I don't really have a feel for either of them, especially Hawaii. I don't even know what Hawaii is anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at Utah State, they haven't won a road game because their road games have been 2 SEC opponents, but they played very competitively in both, covering the number in each game and really racking up the yards, never quitting in those games. It's so easy for some of these lesser foes to just fold up the tent early and just pack it in. Utah State did not do that, and I've just been really, really impressed. I'm probably behind on catching up with how good Utah State actually is, but like their regular season win total was 4.5 or 4 flat at some shops. This is a bowl team. This team can beat every team on their schedule the rest of the way. Maybe not Boise State, but this team beat
San Jose State. San Jose State's back. They're back. Everyone bailed on them, and I wasn't even big on San Jose State. Everyone bailed on them. They're back. I mean, he gets slinging the ball. I love San Jose State last week on the Friday night game. They're back. They're not. Utah State's losing that game.
I hope they're back because I have San Jose State this weekend on the road against Wyoming. The problem in that game is San Jose State has to go to Utah State immediately after Wyoming, so they play at elevation twice back to back. That could be just a little bit tricky for them. But I hope San Jose State's back because I've got them this weekend at Wyoming.
I like San Jose State at Wyoming too. That was one I was considering. Duck, where can the folks find your stuff? Over at Action Network, right?
Yep, Action Network. I host the G5 Deep Dive with Mike Calabrese, which comes out on Wednesdays on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts. We do a live show on Saturday mornings on YouTube. We're actually launching a Friday live show this week, starting this week, 2 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. It's the weekend warm-up, so we're going to have a live show, interact with the live chat, talk about steam in the line movement, injury, weather, a lot of different stuff pertaining to the G5 and beyond. I host the BetUS live show with Kyle Hunter on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and Twitter at Step on a Duck.
Yeah, that's his Twitter name right there. And you said Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern?
Yeah, so if anyone wants to tune in, we're going to have a really fun live show.
I'll remind everybody in the chat. I'll be in there. And by the way, I saw Scott Van Pelt aired your bad beat.
And they shouted me out on that. Yeah, it was on ESPN Bad Beats. That was just brutal. For anyone who didn't see it, go watch Bad Beats Part 2. We had the under in Morgan State, Georgetown. It was under 49.5 and lost on a last-second Hail Mary. It was unreal. So check out the ESPN Bad Beats because that was a fun one.
He retweeted it too. So you can find it on his Twitter too. He retweeted it. He says it. He goes, "Step on a Duck had it." It's funny as hell. All right, everyone. Enjoy your night. Talk to you all tomorrow. Make sure you bet responsibly.